You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Shahs of Sunset After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Shahs of Sunset After Show.
Hi, welcome. Bing is for doing, and we are here doing another AfterBuzz. This is Shahs of Sunset. Happy New Year.
Sorry, that was like so late.
It's okay.
It's all right.
It's such a good song. You just have to.
Better late than never, Martin.
That's right. We partied down.
It is with Asa's song Tarantulas.
That's a great song.
Thank you, Martin.
Sure, no problem.
That was Tarantulas, Asa's song from last season, Season 1. This is Season 2, Episode 8. Happy New Year's. I am your host, Du'a Kaissi. With me tonight are my fabulous co-hosts.
Hi, everybody. I'm Yerman.
Hi, everyone. I'm Renee.
All right. There's so much happened this episode. There's a lot to talk about. We've got Diamond Water. We've got Lily and her first date. We'll go into that. Reza and his family. So let's start with the Diamond Water.
Let's.
So, Michelle, do you have something that you would like to say?
No, you can start. You can start.
I just thought it was interesting how she felt the energy. First of all, it's a carbon. It changes. Okay, you've got to explain this to me now. A diamond can change the energy of a carbon life force, is what she was saying. Is that correct?
Yes.
Any carbon. So the energy is what she was feeling.
And we are carbon-based life forms.
Okay, so she was feeling the energy.
Yes.
I found it ironic that she really felt the energy of like the $100,000 diamond, but then once it was out of her price range, she really felt the energy of the one that was more in her price range.
Right.
She's like, no, this one is
the
better.
5 carat as opposed to the, what was the other one? I forget, but
9?
it's huge. 9 carats, that's
Yeah.
right. Good call.
Yeah, she's like, what, this is within my budget? Or
Yeah.
only $10,000 over my budget, actually.
Well, it was ridiculous to just have her have this 9 carat thing that she puts on like right between her ring finger and her middle finger, and it's the size of a knuckle. And the first thing she says, I'm really feeling this one. I'm wondering what woman would hold a 9 carat diamond in their hand or on their finger and just say, no, I'm not feeling it. Ladies, is this possible? Is this genetically possible?
I've never held a 9 carat diamond in between my fingers, but I think I'd be feeling it if I were.
Okay, so do we think she's feeling that? Are we buying this? Or do we think she's a coconut?
I think that she's buying it. I think that she truly believes that this has energy in it. I think that she's getting it. I don't necessarily. I think that if you think that there's a monster in your closet hard enough, you can trick yourself into believing that there's a monster in your closet. If you're feeling energy from something, you'll feel the energy. It's just a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's all in your head. So if she believes it hard enough, then maybe it's true for her. I don't think that I would necessarily, I'm going to need a 9 million or a 9 carat diamond to really experiment with this.
Martin, can you get us a 9 carat diamond, please, real quick?
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. We're going to have it flown in.
Yeah, just have it flown in real quick.
We'll let you know next episode.
Yeah. I mean, she really does. She really buys. I mean, let me clarify. I do have a certain amount of belief in the metaphysical. I understand and have studied a little bit chakras, yoga, metaphysics, philosophy, all that stuff. And I do understand that she really is into that as well. I mean, she understands the concept of chakras. When she makes a mention of them, she has an understanding of where the chakras are supposed to be, her crown chakra and so on and so forth. So I get that she is knowledgeable to a certain extent. She obviously studies it. She obviously believes in that. She obviously practices those kinds of disciplines.
Of course.
I don't know, even with my belief that there is a certain element of that stuff that is very, for me, I'm one of the people who believes that it does exist to a certain extent. Even I'm having a hard time buying that she's sitting there and she's putting it up to her crown chakra and then she's feeling it in her hands and she's, I mean, it's
So
a diamond.
what you're saying is that you believe in all of this and you still think that she's a coconut.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that all together.
Because that's what I heard right there.
Yeah.
How does this fit into? Okay, because she's Muslim, I think. She
Correct.
said that.
Yes.
So how does this whole? Because I don't know much about the metaphysical or any chakras. I know nothing of it actually. So how does that? Is that like a
It doesn't.
contradictory?
Technically, yes.
Because like for me, like I'm a Christian, and if I were to, be flipping tarot cards or something, like that would kind of be
Yeah.
an issue. I
It's
don't know if
interesting that
it's-
you said tarot cards because I felt like the way that she was picking the diamonds was like picking tarot cards.
Mm-hmm.
She like felt through them and was like putting them out on, laying them out on the table the way that you would if you were to read tarot cards. And this one diamond, there's enough energy in this one tiny diamond to be held under like all of this water. Is that not just one diamond? Like I think that you need more than just one diamond, like a diamond
Yeah.
a bottle, right?
That's what I was under the impression of, that it was going to be a diamond a bottle, which would have been a lot, granted, or maybe like
That
some
is,
grinded diamonds, which would have caused someone
Like
to choke.
filtered, like
Are
coffee.
you all prepared to buy a $75,000 bottle of water?
No, not at all.
Because if we're doing 5 carats a piece on those bottled waters, this is going to get ugly real quick. How did she get that guy?
dehydrated people?
Do we not have to talk about how she monkeyed? I'm just going to go ahead and say the word monkeyed. How did she monkey that gentleman who I thought was not buying into her industrialization of diamond water bit at all? And yet there he is, like, and this is the vat that we're going to keep the water in.
Well,
She's got investors. She's red to go.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. I think that if you have a company and you have, like, if she has the money to back it and she's found somebody to back it, it doesn't matter. He just has a company,
Well, how did she find the money to back it? I thought he was not. He was explaining to her what she's got to look at as far as budget, as far as how much money she has to put together. She flipped out. She's like, oh my God, $100,000. I only have like 10. I thought this was going to be for like 10, 15 out the door.
And just to clarify for people that may not know, you are actually talking about a scene from a few episodes ago where Asa walked into the water company. I believe it was Onyx Water.
Yeah.
And he was saying that she needed a certain amount of money. And now, without anything else, now we just see her working with him. So obviously there were some conversations that we have missed that they cut out.
Right.
But now he's just said yes.
Yeah.
And
and she has backing. She has partners now. So clearly she not only managed to get this guy on board, but she's probably got investors and partners in on it.
She has a $75,000 diamond.
Right.
She's got some money.
I don't think it's necessarily that they are on board with the diamond water and think that it has these holistic healing powers as much as they think that her name could potentially, just sell their product.
Exactly, and it's on a reality show as well. But I got to tell you, with all of this craziness and with all this monkey and coconut talking, I am really curious to try this diamond water.
Yeah.
I would like to try some diamond water. I'm going to put that out there, and I'm hoping that some diamond water will be sent to the studio.
Also, if you're listening, we would like a sample case of diamond water, please.
Absolutely. I like to stay hydrated.
But our budget is considerably less, so if it's anywhere near tens of thousands of dollars, please just give it to us as gratis, because I don't think the budget here allows for $75,000 bottles of water.
Oh, that's funny. So, yes, please.
Yes, I have one more. Who gives her like the authority to bless the water? To me that was a little.
Is she like a shaman or something? Like she
Yeah.
just
She does, right?
Especially when she's like, I had to put my love into it, my love energy.
like
into
she's
it,
not
and
like a
we see
pranic
it.
healer or something. Like
Yeah.
you think that she has to be like certified.
And
that,
I thought that especially with her being a mean girl, these last few episodes, that her love.
yeah. Or what
was
if I took
lacking
or what if
a
I took a
little bit.
bottle of water and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna put my negative energy. Like, does that ruin all the water if you like walk by the grocery store aisle and you're like, I'm gonna take away
Hold on
your
a second.
love
I'm going to ruin
energy.
this bottle real quick. Negative.
Yeah. Can you how do you know?
Well, she does, right? She's a self-proclaimed. She developed diamond water, which I still am not understanding how she developed it, because that would involve like an experimental line. Like you have a control case, you have different samples, you take data measurements. I don't know if she did the research. There was clearly no research done. She made some diamond water. Now she wants to develop it and sell it around the world for millions.
Do you think it happened accidentally? Like her ring accidentally fell into a glass of water one day, and she's like, "Wait a minute, I have
I'm really
an
feeling
idea.
this through my crown chakra.
I have an idea."
Yeah.
This
She's
is
like, oh
great.
my God, this water's amazing. Voss never tasted so good. It's possible.
Oh,
How
dear.
else was she going to come up with it?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
She should just consider herself blessed that she has diamonds in her, or access to diamonds, where she decides she's so bored one day. She's like, you know what I want to do today? I know that there are people starving around the world, but I'm going to put a diamond in the water, put some love energy in it, and then see if that makes me feel better.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's really interesting that you did mention about the negative. She has been negative with like her and Gigi, and they still aren't talking because from the episode, it's like the only person that's now talking to Gigi is MJ. And they showed that. It looked like they were up by Runyon Canyon. Was that where they were going with the dog park up by Runyon Canyon? Yeah. And it did show a little bit that MJ kind of likes to maybe play both sides, or I think that MJ just needs validation and wants a friend. So when she's upset, she'd be willing to be like, you know what, I saw your side. Then when she's upset with Gigi, she can look at Asa and be like, oh, well, I saw your side. But does anybody have anything to say about that? That was a really small scene, and I feel like that was the only interaction between Gigi and the rest of the cast at all.
Michelle, anything?
I think that MJ is kind of being a bad friend, and I'm on Gigi's side of the whole. You're playing both sides of the fence. Like, if you're my friend, then stand up for me. Like, especially her, I don't know, saying, I mean, she just flat out told her, yeah, when they gave us that ultimatum, I chose them. I would rather go to Mexico with them over you. She just straight out.
She did, but at least she was honest. At least she wasn't like, I fought for you, I did this, you know, and of course it's a TV show and she knows that that would eventually get back to her. But so I don't think that she's ever been dishonest with Gigi about where her loyalties lie as far as that. She did let them know, she's like, if I had to pick between Reza, Asa, or you, I pick them because I'm going with the majority. You know, that's why she didn't invite her to her birthday party. She's like, you need to be held accountable. That I do understand where you're coming from with Gigi, but I do feel like MJ has like a strategy as to how she's handling her. I feel like she's almost handling her with kid gloves. So.
And it's annoying also at the same time, sorry, but
no problem.
If you're gonna go there and you made your choice and you chose them over me, then don't waste my time texting me when they hurt your feelings.
Yeah. Oh, that, yes, that is, but that's also Gigi's fault for answering those texts. Because if she is in Mexico and having a hard time, she should have been like, well, now you need to be held accountable. Now you need to sit there and feel how I felt and feel what it feels like to not have anybody to talk to, because that's how she feels right now. So I think that that was on Gigi. Because Gigi almost perpetuates this as well.
Maybe that showed that she's a good friend, that she's willing to, even though she's annoyed, she's still willing to accept the text messages. Whereas someone else, like myself, would have just ignored the person.
Yeah. Well, I'll say these two things. First of all, I don't think that there's that much of a realization on these people's part that their actions and the things that they say are going to be trackable. Because a lot of times they'll say something and then they'll quickly cut to a scene prior when they are said to have, they are shown to say or do something completely different or the opposite. So I don't know if MJ was in the realization that what she was about to say could technically be tracked back in the episodes as it is being filmed and being, you know, recorded.
Because it was just coming out of her mouth.
Right. I don't know if she was really that cognizant. I don't see her being that purposeful in what she chooses to say or not say. Having said that, if memory serves, and viewers, you can definitely comment or send in, comment. I'm just going to say that. You can definitely comment and let me know if I'm mistaken, but I'm pretty sure when she looks at her phone in that Vegas club, it said at one point that she had obviously texted Gigi that Asa is dead to me now.
It did say that,
so
you're right.
If Asa is dead to you, why are you and Great Neck hanging out with Asa celebrating Persian New Year? I'm sorry, Jewish New Year. My bad.
Oh.
So there's a pocket. So what do I think about that whole situation? I don't think anyone's really committing to their line of action, because if someone is dead to you, you should not be in the same room with them. You shouldn't be taking their calls. You shouldn't be hanging out, giving them kisses like Happy New Year. You shouldn't be doing anything. You should do what Michelle does. Ignore and walk away.
Yeah, that's also something that was said in like the heat of a drunken moment when she was, I feel like that's just, you know, so, but I do believe.
But that is accountable. But we see that. It's recorded. So we're going to ask you, what the heck was that text all about? So
now everything that they're saying can be taken with a grain of salt, because you're like, I don't know what to believe, you know, because from one day or another, you're so wishy-washy. I don't know. I don't know what happened there, but it just came out.
It's like your bad John Travolta impersonation. I don't know what that was.
But now that Gigi is like been almost like she's like the I almost said the black hen, the black swan. What is it? The little
Black
duckling?
sheep?
Black sheep. There it goes.
Black hen, dark swan, something. I don't know. Some animal with the noir.
You know that animal that's dark that doesn't hang out with the other ones? So now that she's become the black sheep, she's been spending a lot of time with Omid, like poolside with her red lollipop.
Omid.
Omid.
Who insists on wearing, what is that thing he wears? It's not like the European soccer player headband thing, or is it? That he wears to
The
pull
headband?
Up, yeah, you know, the headband thing. The only other place I've seen that, and I admit, I play soccer, so yes, I'm from Europe, and I do the same thing. When you want to pull your hair back, great, but he has short hair. So what does he need that for?
I don't know. They're about as useless as those like $5 green sunglasses that he was wearing. But my shoes can go in the water or dry land.
No, he's got this headband. It bugs me. I don't know. It's a guy thing, I guess. In that regard, like, your hair is short, dude. It's not getting in your face.
Yeah, I kind of find him charming, and I don't even know why. I don't like. It's terrible. And he's like, I'm kind of a player, and he just seems like he just likes to have fun. And he doesn't take his life too seriously, and I think that that's a little bit fun. You know, he's on a reality show. He can have fun. He's, you know, having fun with Gigi. She's a fun girl. I cannot wait to see next episode because of the previews. It seems like it's going to be nice and filled with drama.
Nice and juicy.
Nice and juicy and thick. Yeah. Does anybody have any thoughts on Gigi's relationship with Omid?
I love them together. I think he's charming as well, and she seems to be very like schoolgirlish and just not her, you know, pit bull self that we've seen some other times. It seems
unguarded.
Like he's the one person that can, I don't know, Reza called her like a, or
Well,
maybe that's
doesn't
next
she have a
episode.
pit bull too? So that's extremely appropriate.
Yeah, but you know, he seems like he softens her a little bit, and they seem very compatible.
Yeah.
So I like them together.
She can even say things that are technically self-involved around him, and it still sounds cute when he says, "You look cute," and she's like, "Duh." But any other time I would have thought, Gigi, take it down to second gear. Honestly, what's with the attitude? And then instead you think, oh, that's cute. They're playing.
Yeah, and her legs look amazing.
You two keep constantly talking about their legs.
They had that whole shot, the double shot of like leg. Like, I mean,
It was just ironic considering we were all watching the episode and you two were talking about her legs and I wasn't necessarily saying anything. It just was a little bit.
Well, you're not allowed, Yerman. You are now married. You're no longer allowed to say things like that.
Is it weird, or does that topic come up like every second show we do, where somebody says I'm married and I can't have fun or do anything cool anymore, like my life is over? It's marriage. It's cool.
Do you think
that you might like it?
I might. I maybe one day. Do you think that Mike and Jessica are going to get married? Do you guys like Jessica?
Well, I thought Jessica handled that even.
Michelle, for those of you that are just listening, Michelle just looks like she just put something really bad tasting in her mouth.
Did you not like that evening, Michelle, when the introduction?
I'm not feeling it.
No.
I'm not feeling the chemistry there.
The chemistry between them.
Yeah.
Oh, not necessarily that you're a fan, that you're not a fan of the girl. You just don't see the girl and the guy together.
Yeah, I just don't think they make that great of a couple. And
well, they haven't really shown a lot of her yet. So I wouldn't jump. I personally don't want to jump to a conclusion yet. However, I do think that she was really, really nervous at Shabbat dinner. And where did she get her dress? Did Mike buy that dress for her?
he said on Watch What Happens Live last night that because Andy commented, Andy was like, wow, she wore a little leather number to Shabbat dinner, put a shawl on or something. But no, he didn't say that. I did. But
That's awesome.
And Mike's like, no, it was like a leather top and like a skirt. Like, it was expensive, like $1,000. I should know. I had to pay for it. And so Candy, the other guest, and Andy were like, wow, you paid for it? And he's like, yeah, Persian men take care of their women, even in the dating stages.
Awesome.
So yes, that is lovely and that is true. But just because it's expensive doesn't make it right.
Well, is it really $1,000? Is it like Sammy $1,000, or is it like really real time $1,000?
So it's like $150.
Right. Like is it $1,000, but like very cheap for you, special price? Like okay, $150 out the door, or is it okay? Here's the credit card, put $1,000 on it.
Michelle, did you see that episode last season where Sammy bought that? It's like, oh, this was $20,000, and then it cuts immediately. This is $2,000, please.
Yeah. When he gives her the gift, he's like, I bought you these really expensive earrings.
But that's always like a status, I feel like, Middle Eastern, like this was expensive. That's what gives it the stat. That's what validates it, because it's expensive. That's how much I care, because I'm going to spend this much money on you. It means a lot. I think that Mike is tickled pink about her. I think that he's actually like turning into a man, and he's really, so I think that Jessica for him thus far is good. I would love to see the scenes where there's trouble in paradise. Not that I'm hoping that happens, but I'm just saying they'd make for interesting scenes.
I don't know. I kind of see what, Michelle, I kind of see what you're talking about, where they do talk. I mean, I don't know what I'm really expecting to see per se, but I kind of see how they don't necessarily seem like they're clicking exactly right. There seems to be kind of more of a, I don't know. There seems to be something. Yeah. Yes. Maybe a lack of chemistry. Exactly. I definitely see that a little bit. It's not like you see them together and you go, oh yeah, those two are fantastic together. They're not. They don't seem alive together. They seem kind of like she's in the car, he's in the car. They make a joke, she laughs, and then they cut to something else. They're like, haha, great.
They're like an old married couple already.
They could easily be friends to me sometimes, as much as they could be in a relationship, in a romantic relationship together. But I don't necessarily have anything bad against her, and I thought she handled that evening, which could have been. I mean, it's natural that she was nervous.
Of course.
So I'm sure as much as Mike sounded like he was talking about it, even on camera, he probably talked about his family so much that any normal woman would have been like, okay, seriously, this is going to be the most nerve-wracking night of my life. I'm just happy if I can make it out of there alive, because his mom alone sounds like she's going to be the Spanish Inquisition, well, which she was.
Well, and that's. I feel like meeting the potential in-laws is always nerve-wracking. I do not understand. You're going to Shabbat dinner. Why don't you explain the ritual process? She took the cup and she's like, do I drink this? Like, he should have told her, look, this is what's going to happen. They're going to read this. They're all going to take a piece of bread. They're all going to drink from a cup. And like so then she knows. And so she's been briefed.
He might have. Who knows?
Like,
and she might have just forgotten.
Yeah.
It's a ritual. I'm sure she didn't memorize it from start to finish. Although maybe.
When somebody hands you a cup, you drink. That's the rule.
Maybe
I
would
think
she
he
have?
didn't tell her. I think he didn't tell her.
Would you two would have familiarized yourself with the, like, you put yourself in her position? Would you have familiarized yourself with Shabbat dinners, like proceedings, in order to have an idea of what was going to happen?
I would have. I would have taken it upon myself to like Google it and like had it down packed.
Gotcha.
Well, and the thing is, I agree, and yes, especially if you care about something, if you're about to share your life with somebody, like if I go to another country, I am Googling what their culture is, because I don't want to be offensive. I want to be in their culture. I want to not offend anybody. So I'm going to, you're on their land, you do it their way. I feel like it's the same in somebody's home, and especially with people's religious beliefs, and you don't want to offend anybody. It's like, absolutely, yes. Take the time, do the research.
Yeah. Well, in that light, she definitely seemed a little bit more clueless than maybe she should have been, because I don't think she had any idea what was happening.
But I got where she was coming from, because I think she was coming from the standpoint of, oh, I'm not Jewish, so does that mean, that I can't drink from the cup and that I can't partake?
That's a good point.
So I think that's where she was coming from.
Oh, it's like,
as to not ruin the sacred tradition.
But then they just shouldn't have handed her the cup.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. So that brings the question: should there just have been a respect to the fact that she comes from a different tradition and shouldn't be expected to participate? And then two, wouldn't it have been even more impressive if she said, no, it's okay. I want to be a part of this. I want to share in an experience other than what I've known. Please allow me to. That discussion never happened. They were just kind of like, okay, here we go. This is what we do. Have some of this bread. Drink some of this. Sit down. Answer some questions. Everybody's good? Let's eat. It didn't really seem like there was any sort of exchange. Like, the parents definitely didn't seem to be like, okay, so did Mike talk to you at all? This is how this is the history of it. Maybe just a little bit of history. Maybe just teach her something she may not have already known. I don't know. Any number of these things could have happened if something like this happened in my family, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, but I feel like you take a lot of pride in your heritage, though. But I like how Mike was like, take a big piece.
Yeah.
He was talking about it was the challah bread, right?
Yeah, the challah bread, yeah. Which actually did look good.
Take a big piece.
Yeah.
Yerman's just hungry.
I'm just hungry all the time when I watch that show.
So Lily went on a date.
Yeah. It's amazing that someone who thinks she's that amazing could screw up a date that badly.
In her defense, first of all, in her defense, she hadn't been on a date in 2.5 years. And
what is she?
Obviously in love with somebody else.
Memento? What is she all of a sudden blanks out on what to do on a date just from 2 years? 2 years, I can't handle it. I don't know what to do.
Yes, but there is something as disastrous as this date was, and we'll get into it in just a minute. What I found endearing was that it showed me a part of Lily that she does have this like honest place inside her, because she obviously wasn't that's what was on her mind, and she just spoke it. As inappropriate as it was, it's better than her just saying something else, but that's what was on her mind. So she's not leading this guy on, at least. She's letting him know, I wish my ex-boyfriend was here.
I thought it was, she's like, I don't even remember his name. Like,
Yeah.
that was a little catty and just.
Oh, I was going to use
why?
another word that started with a C, but okay.
You know, like that to me, I mean, he seemed like a really nice guy. And I don't know, maybe the mention of the ex-boyfriend once. I get it. We've all been there. But she kept doing it. It was like she was kind of taunting him and just, I didn't appreciate it. I wouldn't have paid if I were him.
Did he pay?
I'm assuming he did.
I'm absolutely assuming that she did.
Was he
That
Persian?
did, sorry.
Was he Persian? His name was.
His name is Hadi. Yeah, H-A-D-I, which in Turkish is like saying "come on," oddly enough. But I'm not saying he's Turkish. It just happens to have a meaning.
Hadi. Hold on. How do you say present in? No, there's a it'll never come to me, so
Awesome,
I'm just gonna.
good.
I'm
I
just
don't even
gonna
know what
move
you're
along.
saying, so let's just roll on through that.
All right.
But yeah.
If you guys know, you guys can feel free to rate and comment and let me know.
If you understood that question, everybody, feel free, because I didn't. I don't even know what she just asked.
Yeah, it takes. We do this for you. We love doing it for you. Just take the time. 5 stars. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, 5 stars, then tell her you have no idea what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Please do that. That'd be
Tell
fun.
me about the worst thing you've ever done on a first date.
Well, first of all, here's what I don't understand. Didn't she say before she went on the date that she was just really looking forward to just walking away from that world for just a little bit and trying something new and seeing if she could just be away? She said, like, I'm just looking forward to taking him off my mind, Ali. I'm talking about her ex, whatever.
Obviously, she didn't.
And experience something. And then the first thing out of her mouth is, hey, pleasure to meet you. My ex-boyfriend would have loved to be here, basically. It seemed like. So I don't know. She might be coming from a place of honesty when talking about him, but she's not coming from a place of honesty as what that evening was supposed to be for her. At least not what she portrayed it to be.
When her glam squad walked in, she was looking at her dresses, and she's like, I don't even want to go. She's like, I don't want to go.
That's what I remember.
And they're like, why? And so she, to me, just didn't even want to. She felt like she needed to. It's almost like she's leaving a deadline for him to make these decisions.
Which is past.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she has a deadline for him. He's supposed to be moving out here. It's like she wants him to live in her world as opposed to them making a world together. And he's not doing it. So she needs to pull away because obviously their lives are splitting off. But so she feels like she's doing this out of necessity, I think, as opposed to like she needs to do this. She needs to get out there. But and he seemed like a really great guy. He seemed like a really sweet guy, and he was very, very understanding.
Very understanding. And did he actually prompt her? Didn't she say something at some point? And he said, "Who?" Just to see if she would throw out the ex-boyfriend again. And sure enough, she didn't. She didn't disappoint.
It was at dinner, and he said something about, "Oh, if your ex-boyfriend could see this," and she's like, "Oh, I wish he was here now."
No. Yes, that was also atrocious. But at one point, he said something like, "If you were this beautiful, and I would definitely pursue you and try to get you for myself, or I would think any man would do that," or something to this extent. Viewers, by all means, or listeners, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's kind of went along this argument and said something like, he made an allusion to a man, and then she said something back, and then he said to prompt her, "Who?" And then she threw in the ex-boyfriend. He's like, I knew it. This is ridiculous. You could just see the look on his face every time she mentioned him.
Yeah, it's like any man would be lucky to have you. And then she's like, yeah, I wish my ex-boyfriend wanted me.
He's sitting there like looking at all the, he's like, the emergency exit is exactly 20 feet to my left, north by northwest. And it's taking me exactly 30 seconds to walk over there. Where is the waiter? Where is the bill? I don't know what's going on.
And you know, it's terrible when when you go out on a first date, and I do not enjoy dating. But when you go out on a first date, you gotta go for drinks first, because if you don't like the person, or if like halfway into the they wouldn't have had a second drink, I don't think. But like, you're committed when you're having dinner, and when you've ordered, you're committed for 45 minutes to sit there and tolerate whatever is sitting across from you.
Sure.
And it can not be like the best thing. So, yeah. I just thought it was one of my favorite scenes of the show. I thought it was hilarious.
I thought she looked really pretty, I will say that. And I was trying to figure out what was different and why she looked pretty. And I decided that it was because she had her breasts covered.
Oh, and the hammer comes down. Ladies and gentlemen, Michelle, she's here all night. She's here all night. Thank you, Martin. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin.
You might want to just keep that on check, because she's just throwing down dimes tonight.
Oh my goodness. All right, so we've got let's get into Reza and his dad, because we've got a lot to talk about with this. Reza and his dad and his family. Reza, Rosh Hashanah, everything. I love that he brought his family or his friends to his uncle's house, Uncle Hushan,
Hushan, I think.
Hushan?
I think.
His uncle, and that's such a Persian and Middle Eastern culture. It's like, do you mind if I bring my friends? And he goes, yes, bring them all.
Yeah.
Have them here. Come, eat, drink. It's so welcoming and inviting, and I'm glad that they could all take a trip to.
Great neck.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, if you guys could explain to me exactly what happened with this rumor and the dinner with Reza's father. So, because we actually had to pause it and kind of go back. And so Reza's grandparents got divorced, correct? And his mother, when Reza's father was just a kid, Reza's grandmother had to be sent away, almost like getting voted off an island. And Reza's father did not see his mother for another 25 years. Is this correct? And then Reza's father went with his younger brother, Hushan, who they went over to the Rosh Hashanah dinner. They lived in an apartment together with a maid. That's correct. So he did not like his parents. He did not have a good relationship with his parents. Me talking about Reza's father right now. So this is all. So what do you guys think this rumor is? Like, what could it possibly be?
Oh, gosh. I mean, it could have been anything. As Dave said in the episode as well, I mean, obviously, it's men can do no wrong. So it could have been anything from, but whatever they do, they just blame or excommunicate the woman in the scenario. So it could have been, you mentioned that he might have had an affair.
Yes. But she used to be a princess. So when she was 20, she got divorced. This is Reza's grandmother when was 20 when she got divorced, and she was the princess of Esfahan.
No. So here's what I don't understand. The Princess of Isfahan, I don't know if that was a reference to the fact that she really is one, or the fact that it was kind of a historical reference to the fact that Isfahan is an ancient city from way old times, and the kings and queens and princes and princesses of those areas were highly regarded and fabled to be beautiful. I'm not that I didn't understand. By all means, viewers and listeners, if you know, throw us a shout out, because that's the one reference that I did not get when she said she used to be a princess of Lisbon.
Okay.
I thought it was a reference. I mean, that's just a guess, but to me, I thought it was a reference to the fact that she used to have a nice life and used to be this gorgeous girl with all these wonderful things, and then her status just was demoted when she did whatever she did.
And a woman in her 20s in Iran that's divorced, like, what are you gonna do?
Right.
Like, that is your status, is to be married, and you get a husband, and it's like at divorce, it's like you can't go and get a job. You don't have any, you can't do, like, especially back in those days. So I would have to think that would have given her a immensely difficult life. I would be really interested to know what happened there.
Well, I don't know if that's ever going to come out. Obviously, they don't. From what I understand, the father doesn't know either at this point, correct? Reza's father doesn't know what the rumor was either.
No.
So if he doesn't know, how Reza would find out, or any of us would find out either. I mean, unless that woman decides to all of a sudden spill the beans at her age, which seems unlikely.
Is Reza's grandfather dead?
My understanding is that, yeah, they're both passed away, or
just,
they're definitely incommunicado. We haven't made one single mention of their existence even.
Okay. So the grandmother that we saw today was a completely different grandmother that we saw last season.
Yeah, that was a flip. That was a 180 flip.
Well, and when I was fast forwarding, and they hadn't even had the scene with Reza and the grandmother yet, and there were only 5 minutes left in the episode, and I was like, well, this is either going to go terribly bad, or it's just going to go brilliantly, because they're 5 minutes. It's like there's not going to be a lot, and like it was like a non sequitur. It was just like
it's almost like that woman was a completely different. All of a sudden, you had this loving grandmother who likes to eat and drink and be merry and talk. It was a completely different person.
She would not speak to him last time, which I don't know if she actually wouldn't speak to him, or if that was just kind of the way they made it look. Because I don't remember her talking to him at all last season. I just he mended things with his father. Now he's mending things with his grandmother. I love that he's just kind of like getting his life and his family situation all sorted out, though. I think that's excellent.
Sure.
To me, it seemed like maybe there was a mediator in Reza's father, maybe.
Okay.
And he had a talk with the grandmother to say, look, Reza's really upset by the fact that you don't love him. I mean, because, I know she's getting older, so maybe she had Because, I mean, usually when people get older, they're very senile and, like, stuck in their ways. So I don't think it would be a decision that she would just come to on her own, you know, to just realize one day, I've been treating my grandson so wrong, you know? So maybe there was some kind of coaxing there by
It's possible.
There was definitely a conversation had. I will agree with that. There had to have been something.
Maybe. Here's the thing. My grandfather, God rest his soul, he was a much sterner gentleman in his youth, as my father knew him as his father, than he was the grandfather that I knew. The more he grew older, the softer he became, and he treated us, my brother and I, with a lot more affection than he technically ever showed my father during his youth. He was just a sterner man. He's not an unloving man, just sterner in his attitude. So my father always attributed that to the fact that, like, all of a sudden he got older and he just changed. So it is possible to me that she, as she's now in her 90th year apparently, which is, you know, up there, mashallah, as they said. You know, it's
Too much inshallah, not enough mashallah.
Exactly. Maybe she is getting softer, but it's quite possible that the father said, you know, don't screw this up for me. This boy is finally back in my life. Maybe he even kind of slightly veiled threatened her. Who knows? And said, like, look, this is the deal. He's trying to make amends. Please don't ruin this. Try to talk to him. Who knows? That's a pretty good theory out there.
Nothing like a slightly veiled threat to get somebody to focus.
Yeah.
And it was weird because the father, when Reza was packing, it was towards the beginning of the episode, and he was on the phone with his father. Reza asked, have you talked to grandma? Or that's not exactly what he said, but he was like, have you talked to her? And the dad was like, no, I haven't talked to her. She's always negative when I talk to her.
Yeah, she makes me depressed.
Yeah, so that was, I don't know, also strange, because if you're not talking and if she's kind of making you depressed.
Well, he didn't say ever. I was under the impression that he had not talked to her lately, because every time I hang out with her, she's starting to depress me. And, you know, he's apparently having these sexual escapades with the women. I was seeing this one woman just for sex, you know?
I'm totally with Reza on that one.
I still need it.
I
don't want to hear it. No, Dad, no. Keep that to yourself.
Who says that to their son? Oh, that's
I still need it. Well, then go get it. I don't know what to tell you.
Do you think that Reza would feel comfortable talking to his father about his sexual escapades?
I mean, there's already that the elephant of, well, his father's heterosexual, he's homosexual. It's already like a weird topic, let alone, I don't know. What's he going to say? Like, Dad, I'm sorry, I don't know how to relate.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to tell you. I seek men, not women. Sorry.
Yeah.
Seek.
Sorry, is that a bad word?
My.
Was that funny?
No, it's just sad.
Yeah, I don't know. I seek men.
Is there anything else anybody wanted to say about the dinner or about Reza and his family?
Well, it was just, like you said, I think ultimately it was a really sweet scene, right? I think it was really nice for his friends, you know, Mike and Asa and MJ to be there. They seemed to all be very touched by the affair as well, especially when they all got around the grandmother to see her partake of the tasty beverage, and they all kind of smiled and said, look, she's, you know, she can still drink at her age. And there was a lot of mashallah thrown around the room, as you said earlier, and then
mashallah. What for our viewers that don't know, what does mashallah mean, Yerman?
Mashallah is basically a blessing, the blessing of Allah. It's kind of a all-purpose thing that you say for any time you want to give blessing to any occasion of any sort.
But the way that it's used is so frequent. Like I would equate mashallah being used as often as wow is used in English. Not even joking. Like you can see anything, and if it's great and amazing, oh mashallah, oh wow. It's just, I feel like that's how often it's used.
Yeah.
So
it's pervasive, but it was a really touching scene. I mean, they seem to, once again, there's the father and Reza crying together. No. When that whole thing is said and done, which I find kind of amusing at times, but I thought it was a nice scene.
When Reza cries, though, I feel like he really cries from like the bottom of his soul. Like, I'm not even joking.
Is that because he's got a mustache?
But it comes out like his voice is altered, and he can't, like, it's actual, like, I mean, I've seen some reality stars cry, and I'm like, this is just all show and games. I feel like Reza's doing it, and he's being honest. Yeah. And I find that really endearing, because the whole storyline with his family, I am believing, and I feel like I'm emotionally invested in, which is a great thing about doing an AfterBuzz show. When you get to really love the characters, it's fun. Yeah. All right, so they all. I just want to touch on two things before we get into news and gossip and predictions.
Yes.
The car ride where they got lost and the bumper cars.
That was awesome.
One small thing. I felt like these are two scenes that were very pertinent, and I like these scenes because I felt like these scenes made it relatable to us.
Yeah.
Everybody's gone go-kart racing, and everybody's gone and gotten incredibly lost in a city that they're not aware of and have circled around. So I felt like those scenes were put in on purpose to make it relatable for us, the viewers.
Yeah.
That's all I had to say about that.
Michelle, anything?
Nothing really about that, but
Just like that's completely.
Totally off topic.
Yeah, I don't really care about that stuff.
no,
but-
mine is off topic too. It's like a closing thing that I looked down at my notes and saw that I wanted to mention. I found it kind of ironic that there's so much talk of like alcoholism on the show and like people being blamed about being alcoholics. But it's very evident by this episode that drinking is like a part of the culture. So I don't, because when Jessica goes to Mike's house and she's like, I'll just have water. The mom's like, water? No, like
No wine?
Yeah. And then also, obviously when they're at the Rosh Hashanah dinner, like everyone's drinking, even the grandma. So
Oh yeah, but hold on. I love this line. He makes the most famous vodka tonics. Yeah, the secret ingredient is ginger ale. That's not a vodka tonic.
I was just gonna say, is that a vodka tonic?
That's not a vodka tonic.
My
That's a
bartending-
vodka and ginger ale.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah, that's a completely different thing. I'm glad, just on a quick thing, I'm glad they are showing us those little snippets because it gets to be overwhelming to constantly see scenes of them doing or mishandling situations or getting into these scenarios that at some level are unrelatable because we seem to have very differing opinions as to how we would have handled it as the, I don't know, I'm going to go and say common man and woman.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see
Blame.
that, it's nice to see him, like I like it that they at least have this storyline with Reza and his dad because it seems like the one really relatable part of Reza that everyone can kind of identify with at some level. It's nice to see people get lost at least. Okay, they're normal people too. They do normal things. They put their pants on one leg at a time. I'm just saying it's nice to see that as opposed to a scene with a woman basically hugging a huge vat of water.
Or their 90s stretch pants. Their 90s stretch
Right.
pants go on one leg at a time.
Right, 90 stretch pants.
They
yeah.
got lost after they stopped at the Christian Louboutin store. Though, so let me bring it back to reality.
and
I can't afford
yeah,
those.
yeah. And didn't
Yeah.
Asa have a great line too that she wanted to go to Harlem and get her some African head wraps or African fabrics for some head wraps she wanted to make?
Yes, and I think she was poking fun at Reza having to go to the Louis
having to go.
Vuitton.
Yeah, why?
God,
I didn't
it's
get
a
that.
Louis Vuitton emergency. Like, why couldn't he have bought the shoes beforehand? There were shoes, right, that he wanted?
Isn't there a Louis Vuitton here in LA? I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
okay.
And I think he also has a stylist because when he was on the phone with his dad at the beginning of the episode, there was a huge style rack.
Yeah.
Like, and you could tell that it was like in his room, like not like that's not
All dry
normally
clean
there.
with plastic still on them, right?
Yeah, so it's probably his stylist was like, well, here are your options for the week. Let me know or get back to me, or like a personal shopper or something.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there are those things that remind you that they do not live the life
No.
that we
No,
do,
no.
but yet they pluck in these small things which keep us related to it.
Yeah.
I did think that Asa's dress was amazing at the Rosh Hashanah dinner, though. Amazing. It's the first time. I don't
remember it.
It was the gold that went over the shoulder.
Oh, okay.
Gosh, Yerman, get it together.
I'm so sorry. I'm
He's
so
married.
sorry.
He can't look at the
There
Yeah,
it is. One
apparently
more
my-
time. I didn't want to say it.
Wow. Just
We
twice
should,
in,
we
twice
should
in the
have
same
Bevan on the
episode.
show. She's delightful. I love her. Tell her I would like her to get to come be a guest on the show.
You got it.
All right, so let's get into news and gossip.
Sure.
All right.
AfterBuzz TV News.
This just in. I love saying that. Sorry. Go ahead, Du'a.
Oh, sure. So the funniest thing about it, all this Diamond Water talk, Diamond Water apparently is going to be on the market in the spring. So at least as it, you know what, whether or not it's coconuts, whether or not it's a nutty venture, it shows that when you pursue something and you really believe in something, anything is possible. And I think that that's adorable. So you will be able to buy Diamond Water at your retailers. We'll keep you posted on that. And then also apparently Gigi and Omid's wedding plans are on hold, and maybe that's because it was all a publicity stunt to begin with. Just a thought. But yeah, apparently the marriage is on the rocks.
Or the engagement.
Oh yes, that's what. It's not what I said. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
The engagement is on the rocks, and probably will never be a marriage. That would be mine. Do you have something for us, Yerman?
I was forwarded this information from TamaraTattles.com, who's basically like Michelle a Bravo wiki. Michelle's a Bravo wiki for everyone that doesn't know.
She knows everything about every Bravo character there is to know.
Yeah.
It's a plethora of information.
So on an interview here, Mike was interviewed, and some questions were asked for him. One question was from a caller: "Why are you doing Reza's dirty work by calling Gigi and uninviting her to Mexico? It was not only a travesty; it wasn't like you. Let Reza fight his own battles." To which Mike replied, "Listen, when you have a close bond with someone, you have to stand with them. And Gigi's insane, so I had to uninvite her." Which was, I like this, and I'm pretty sure he said it just like that. And Gigi's insane, so I had to uninvite her, just like that. And then yeah, and then another caller said, "What is your perspective on the whole MJ pill popping situation?" To which Mike replied, he has never seen MJ popping pills. She's the life of the party, and the whole thing was taken out of context, which is interesting. Andy asks if Andy, I'm assuming is Andy Cohen. Andy asks if it was an invasion of privacy. You choose to air that segment, Andy, is what Tamara was saying. Mike replied a little bit, then something was bleeped. So apparently Mike may not have appreciated that part. But apparently the whole MJ pill popping thing was taken out of context, which then leads you to wonder what else is being taken out of context. I mean,
I'm sure a ton. I'm sure
bottom line is we're sitting here accusing, or not accusing, but we're suspecting Gigi of having problems with alcohol abuse and whatnot. Like, who knows if any of that is, yeah, people get drunk, but doesn't mean that they necessarily have an addiction or a problem. So who knows what is or isn't being taken out of context, which makes me wonder about everything in the world.
Yeah, it does. I mean,
Sorry, Michelle, go ahead.
Michelle, do you have anything for us?
Anything for us?
Yeah, Mike is going to be in Playgirl.
I'm so happy he said yes.
Wow, so
Mr. Thick and Rich on top.
Is that going to be the title of the magazine?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It should be. If Anna was here right now, she would look at me and she'd be like, "It's just Thick and Rich on top." That's what she would say.
So how is Mike's mom letting that slide?
Well, he did say on the show, because someone said, "Oh, well, how's your mom taking that news?"
They did? So, okay,
yeah.
so I'm not the first person.
And he was kind of like, and then Andy's like, "Yeah, I'm sure that's a work in progress as well."
Well, whose mom is proud that their son is in Playgirl?
Well, they said the whole Dudu Talo, is that how you say it?
The golden
Dudu
penis?
Talo,
Yeah, so maybe she's going to like have it and be like, Dudu Talo.
One more time, Martin, if you could run this. Michelle's. Thank you. Wow, Michelle, just dropping bombs tonight. I love that. Thank you. Oh, the exuberant one. Oh, that's a full Wembley Stadium crowd right there. Yeah, that's nice. I like that.
Oh, that's great. Is that what we're ending news and gossip with? Because that'd be amazing.
That's awesome.
All right, let's get right into predictions.
Yes.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
There's like a weird feedback noise along with that noise. I'm really creeped out now.
It sounds like American Horror Story.
It sounds like American.
When the aliens are coming.
Yeah.
Yes, rapture me.
Weird.
So I have one small tiny prediction. I'll just get out of the way because it's they showed the preview of Mike and Omid next week getting into some type of altercation where there's a knife involved. I'm wondering if it's Africa. You know?
Yeah.
So I really think that is either going to be like totally like beefed up. It's not going to be what it seems, and that what we saw was just in the preview. I really don't think it's going to be a big deal at all. I think that they're just blowing it out of proportion. I'm trying to I have no clue what they could possibly be mad at each other about, but that's what I think.
Didn't they show in the preview that Gigi also pulled it? She's like, if anyone's going to be pulling out a knife, it's me.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that that's just all. I think it's just I think it was just a preview.
I don't know. Two guys, they're both pretty buff. I'm just saying, I'd like to see that. See how.
Who do you think would win that fight? I think. Who do you think would win that fight?
Michelle's super excited. She's like, if you could please put that on air.
I think that Mike would take Omid in a second. I mean, Omid's got the length on his arm, so he has the reach, but Mike is like spry. He's more like
Mike is spry.
He's more like what's the word I'm looking for? Stout. He's more stout, so I feel like he has like more like a center of gravity. He'd be like a great wrestler.
Omid works out. He looks like he works out. He's solid. He might not be thick and rich up top, but he's solid up top.
Yeah, I think that Mike would be a great MMA fighter. That's all I'm saying. I'd like to see him in the octagon.
And I'm sure the mom would really like that a lot more than a Playgirl. Like, Mom, I'm gonna be an MMA fighter. Oh, really? Okay. As opposed to, Mom, I'm gonna be in Playgirl. What?
Yeah, the book could be called Mike and the Muay Thai Clench.
Yeah. I have no predictions. Michelle, anything from you?
I predict that MJ and her mother's reconciliation is not going to go as well as Reza's and his father's.
Yeah, that it seems like a nice prediction. All right, who are you and where can we find you?
Hi. Wow, all of a sudden I feel like I'm being I'm at Mike's house. Hi, everybody. I'm Yerman again. You can find me on Twitter at Yerman, Yermangur.
I am Michelle Renee, and you can find me on Twitter at Michelle Renee LA. That's MichellReneeLA.
Hi, I'm Du'a Kaissi. You can find me on Twitter at DUA KAISSI. Or you can or you can find me here Thursday nights buzzing about anger management with Charlie Sheen. And then there is also Anna, and Anna is Anna Koppel at Koppel for Mayor on Twitter, and that is her handle, and she'll be back with us next week.
That's it.
That's it, right?
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.